Hey everybody, hi. I'm so glad to see you all tonight. My name is Amber Heron. I am a Norix independent consultant, and I am really excited to share just a few minutes with you tonight talking about some hacks for how you can ditch some disposables, have more of like plastic-free living in your summer and just in your life in general. And I'm just gonna warn you, this is a quick, fun class. It's like 30 minutes. And so it's gonna be kind of like drinking from a fire hose. I got a whole, you can't see everything, but I got like a whole pile of stuff all over the place right in front of me. And so I'm just gonna zip right through it. So definitely make sure you say hi in the comments. Let us know you're here. And maybe say who invited you tonight. We would love to see that. And you'll see some other opportunities to chime in and give your opinion on some things as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Again, welcome. This is a plastic-free July class, and it's designed to give you some easy swaps that are gonna save you money. I know we could all use that, right? Your time, that's another thing I could use. I'm a busy mom with 5 kids. Time is something that is extremely valuable to me. And it's also gonna save your sanity a little bit. So, and then of course, it's gonna help the planet, which is also always a bonus. So go ahead and say hi in the comments and tell me what's one disposable thing that you'd love to maybe stop buying. You know, this is not about perfection. No one here is expecting perfection. It's about progress. It's the same thing, when you're on a non-toxic journey or a low toxic journey. You're never going to have perfection with that. So it's all about progress and those small, simple things that you can do to make changes over time that make a big impact. So I would love to know in the comments, what's one disposable thing that you're still buying that maybe you want to start, looking at some other options for. Put that in the comments and let us know. So tonight I'm going to show you some practical hacks and some easy habits that hopefully will be able to stick for you. I'm all about simple and easy. Like I said, I have 5 kids, I'm busy. I can't do like 20 steps to this or 50 steps to that. I need something that's simple and easy that I can just habit stack with what I'm already doing. So hopefully that's something that you're going to gain from watching tonight. And just so you know, we also have this amazing tip sheet that's available to you. The consultant who invited you would love to share that amazing resource with you. And some of this is going to be in that tip sheet. There's going to be more info expanded in that tip sheet. And so you definitely want to reach out to the consultant who invited you and ask her to send that over to you if you don't already have it in your hands. And they will love to send that to you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started now that we're done with the intros, and we're gonna start with the kitchen, okay? So the kitchen is kind of like ground zero for plastic waste if we're honest, right? But it's also where you can actually save the most money. So I'm gonna just go through a few little simple hacks and ideas, and like I said, it's just gonna be rapid fire. So the first one I wanted to share with you, this is actually, I can't take credit for this hack. This is my friend Christine. I don't know if she's on, but this comes straight from her. It's an amazing hack. And that is to take your own takeout containers when you go out to eat. So instead of having them hand you, the worst is that styrofoam stuff. Like, that's leaching into your food. It's never going to go away once it's thrown away in the trash and at the landfill. And they're just really horrible, right? So why not take your own food containers with you for your leftovers or your takeout? And so we have these are a super convenient option. Of course, they are collapsible silicone containers that we have available with Norwex. And they have lids, and these are just 2 of the sizes. We have 2 other sizes, one that's smaller and then one that's larger. So plenty of size options for whatever, takeout food you have. And so this is a really great hack. You could just have these sitting in your car, and then you just can grab them and take them in and just be like, hey, you know what? I'd love to put it in this container, save some plastic, and not use what you're bringing, and they would probably think it's awesome. So that's a real fun and easy hack, is bring your own food containers for leftovers or takeout food. All right, next, have you seen this? I think this was probably, I don't know, viral at some point with Reels, but is making your own microwave popcorn. And you can do it in a jar or you could do it in a silicone bag. So I gotta tell you guys, when I made this afternoon, I think every single one of my kids at some point came in and was like, I smell popcorn. So it is definitely an awesome hack, and it was so easy and so fast. I just grabbed some, organic popcorn kernels at the store. I just put like a half a cup in this silicone bag that we have. And I threw some butter in there too so I could season it a little bit, and threw it in the microwave for, it was probably about like 3 minutes. You would probably just need to I stuck close by, you know, when you hear the popping, to stop in between the kernels. And I've got all this popcorn, and so my kids are all pretty upset with me because they were not allowed to eat it yet, because I was like, no, I have to have some left over to show people. So they're gonna be excited to eat that tomorrow. But this is a super easy hack. Think about how much money you will save not buying microwave popcorn, let alone it's way healthier for you. There's so many questionable things in that in those bags. Some forever chemicals are in those bags, and I'm pretty sure there's also plastic in those, even though it seems like they wouldn't be plastic, they are. And so this is a really fun, easy hack. Ditch the microwave popcorn and make it in a silicone bag like this. It's just as fast, it's just as easy, and it's way healthier, and of course it is more sustainable and saves you money. So that's the next hack I got for you. All right, so that was super easy. Another one is, let's talk about one of the ways that we lose money in the kitchen is food waste. And so one hack to help you with food waste is when you have something that's a leftover, like melon, or this is like half of a nectarine, is we have these silicone lids, and they fit right over, this could fit like over a tomato, avocado. We have a couple other sizes, which is super awesome. That way you don't have the food waste. You don't have to eat it all at once or throw the rest out. You're saving money because you're using up all the food and keeping it in good condition to eat again. And it's super convenient. And then the other thing is you're not putting plastic wrap on it, because again, when you're putting that plastic on your food, it's leaching into your food, and then you're eating plastics, which none of us really want to do that either, right? So saves you money, saves you, saves your health. Awesome little hack. Okay. All right. Next, we got to talk about water. Okay. So water bottles and bottled drinks, I actually have a stat written down here somewhere. The average American spends $266 per year on bottled water. Isn't that insane? I could use that extra $266 to do something else. And a reusable water bottle pays for itself really in like less than a month. Pretty amazing, right? So get yourself a really good reusable water bottle, or, you know, a cup, things like that. And you could save a lot of money. And another thing, another hack with water is like, like I said, I have kids, and so like they're really into like a bottled drink or like a flavored drink, you know, that's appealing to them. Like, thank you, marketing. So just like a fun little hack, which also goes back to that food waste, is to make water fun. So I have like here, this is a pitcher. This is a glass pitcher I got off of Amazon, and it actually has like this little thing. Hopefully I can do this without dumping the water in front of you guys. That would be really wonderful. It has this little container in the middle where I can put my fruit, or you can put veggies or herbs, whatever you want to put in there to infuse your water. And again, my kids saw this in the fridge. More than one of my kids tonight was like, can I have some water? Of course you can have some water, right? So that's saving, these were like raspberries that were like kind of too mushy to eat, but now I'm putting them in the water, and so they're still getting some use out of them, which is saving us some money. Also, we're using our own bottled water so that we're not using plastic bottles. Another way that you could hack this is take that fruit that's about to go out, and you could put it in like ice cube trays, and freeze it, and then put the ice cube with the fruit in it in your water and do it that way. So that's a fun little hack that will save you lots of money in the kitchen. All right. So, and then you also will have, your kids won't be drinking as much sugar in those bottled drinks, and maybe you will be having better drinks too. All right, so another hack, and maybe some of you have seen this before, is again, to keep your produce lasting, is to put in a cloth when you store it. So first of all, if you can kind of plan ahead when you get your groceries and just plan on cleaning all your produce and cutting it right away so it's prepped, that makes it simpler. And then you just throw it in here. There's a glass container, and then I have a counter cloth in there to help absorb the moisture and to help it last longer and stay fresher. And so that's a fun little hack. It's really great, and it's very effective. On that same front, you can also do something similar with refrigerator drawer liners. So we have these, and I don't know about you guys, but I have a fridge that has a whole drawer, and I actually just recently decided to swap it out, and I've kind of turned that drawer into like my little like salad bar drawer. And so some of my produce, like, you know, the little mini peppers or mini cucumbers or whatever, I have them cleaned ahead of time, and then I just set them right in the refrigerator, and they're not cut up because my kids will like just take them and eat them whole. And I just set them on top of these refrigerator liners, which will do the same thing as the countercloth inside the container. They will prevent the food from spoiling quickly. They're washable, so that's great. You know, you're not using up paper towels or things like that. Less food is wasted, so it's saving me money on food, fewer grocery trips, all of the above, right? Okay, and then you gotta check out the tip sheet for this one. I don't have an example of it, but we have a really fun little recipe for making your own ice cream, and it's completely sustainable containers with using jar. You can also, I think, use the silicone bags like this for this recipe. So if you're interested in giving that a shot, ask your consultant for that tip sheet, and she'll send that over to you. And you can try it and let us know what you think. Maybe, I don't know, have you tried one of those no churn recipes before in a jar? I'd love to know. And there's also going to be in that tip sheet a fun little PDF which has 5 easy swaps to switch over to be plastic free. So you definitely want to check that out as well. Okay, so what's one food, since we just talked about food in the kitchen, what's one food that always goes bad in your fridge before you can use it? Probably like raspberries is a good one for us, which is why I love to have that water idea. So what's one food that goes bad before you can, tends to go bad before you can get to it? Put it in the chat. All right, so that's the kitchen. All right, let's move on. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything from my notes. Another place that is packed with plastic, which a lot of us don't realize, is cleaning. So many cleaning products are filled with plastic packaging. I mean, it's just, look at the aisles. The jugs are huge. You have to constantly buy the package over and over again. They're not refillable usually. It takes a lot, okay? So, of course, your EnviroCloth and your window cloth are an easy swap out to replace a lot of those plastic jugs and spray bottles and all of the above with just water and these 2 cloths. You know, it's going to guarantee to work for you for 2 years, probably longer, but you know, it has that warranty for 2 years when you use it and care for it properly. And it will save you on so many plastics and so much money over time. So I gotta mention just the old standbys, the EnviroCloth and the window cloth. Another place with cleaning that you will see a lot of money when you swap out is your mop pads. I know before I was really investigating what I was using in my home, I needed something that was quick and simple, and so I was using, you know, one of those name brand disposable pads, and they're full of poison basically, but also they are expensive and they create a lot of waste. And so I love the fact that the Norwex mop system has reusable mop pads. Again, 2-year warranty on the mop pads. You know, even like a duster, I used to use, you know, a duster that you would have to replace the duster, and it was just more waste. And those dusters were very expensive. So you're not only going to save on your waste, but you're saving tons of money when you swap these out. And your consultant really has a great way for you to save even more. Consider hosting an event with your consultant this month, and you have an opportunity to actually even get the mop system as part of your host rewards. So that's pretty awesome. It doesn't get much better than that. All right, so that's the mop. That is a huge way that you can save on being more sustainable. All right, now let's talk about laundry. Okay, so I think I have a stat on this. So when it comes to dryer sheets, if you were to swap out dryer sheets for reusable wool dryer balls, you could save like $60 a year. And detergent jugs, if you were to swap those out, those huge detergent jugs, that could save you like $240 a year. That's insane. So why not swap out for something like our Power Zyme? It is very concentrated. It'll last you forever. A little bit goes a long way. It's not a huge jug. It's not plastic. You can recycle the packaging when you're finished. And we also have our Eco Wash laundry strips, which is a great option too for sustainability. I mean, look, you can't get much smaller in laundry packaging than that. It's made of cardboard, and then the laundry strips themselves are very small and sustainable. And so this is a really great hack for traveling, for elderly, if you have limited laundry space. And again, you're reducing so much plastic just by making this swap over time. So laundry is a huge place where you can swap that out. By the way, the Powerzyme, I've just got to give a shout out to it. This has tons of enzymes in it, and it is a game changer if you have stinky laundry. Like, I have kids who play sports. I have a really, really stinky dog. And this is a total game changer for that. In fact, some of my kids' clothing, I don't even have to pre-treat it anymore because those enzymes are so fabulous. So not only is it concentrated, it's gonna last you longer, it's gonna be more sustainable, but it's just gonna work better too. So I just gotta give that shout out to the Powerzyme. All right, so let's talk about some other ways that going plastic free saves you money. Let's talk about paper towels. If you can swap out paper towels, which this was actually the very first thing I swapped out long before I even knew Norwex existed. I swapped it out for some cotton cloths, which now I kind of cringe thinking about because I know about the amazing counter cloths that are sitting there on the counter behind me. But swapping out paper towels can save you so much money. I think that the stat on that is it's like $200 a year. And some people maybe even more. Maybe you have somebody in your household who is like got a paper towel addiction. Maybe you'll need to hide them for a while and then swap out for something like the counter cloth or an EnviroCloth. And like which disposable product would you say you run out of constantly? Like paper towels, I think it's got to be a pretty big one for a lot of people. So just even these little swaps like paper towels, napkins, that's another one I swapped out pretty early on. They make a big difference in your budget. I think I had some other, like in extending the freshness of your food, like we throw away $1,500 of food a year. We throw away $1,500 worth of food a year. So when you can stretch that out with some of these hacks like this and like this, you know, that's saving you so much over time. All right, so let's move on to the bathroom. We've talked about the kitchen. We've talked about your cleaning supplies, which is another like hidden place where plastic is lurking around. Now let's talk about bathroom and beauty, okay? This is another hidden plastic trap. So I had mentioned, I had a post in the event that kind of alluded to this, but swapping out like those reusable makeup wipes, which by the way, they have plastic in them like crazy, right? Why? I don't know, but they do. So swapping out those makeup wipes for something like our dual-sided makeup remover pads, body cloth. Even think about the plastic packaging in your shower if you use body wash and shaving cream and all those things, and you just swap it out for a body cloth and water. You're saving so much plastic, so much money. It's working great, and so that's like a really obvious swap in the bathroom. Another one is using refillable skincare. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to check out our amazing skincare line, but one of my favorite things about it is the intentionality that was put into it. There was so much intentionality all the way down to the packaging, that it had no glue so that it could be fully recyclable. Say that 3 times fast. But the bottles are also all refillable, and it's really simple. This is the original bottle I've had for I think 2 years now. And then I just swap out this part and I keep this beautiful bottle. So I'm not creating extra waste. Same with all of these. They do that, which is awesome. And it's also taking up less space in my cabinet. It's taking up less from my budget from having to constantly replace containers. Like this is this container. And let me just show you what the refill looks like for this, just to give you an idea of the savings. This is the refill and this is the container. I mean, that is a really great sustainable option when it comes to your skincare. And then on the subject of skincare and savings, this is an example, along with some of our cleaning supplies, where you can also take advantage of our autosave. And so you're saving money that way because you get an additional discount off of your products, but you're also not running out. So you're not having that really expensive last minute trip to the store. You're not spending the time going to the store. You're not spending the extra gas going to the store. So even just having the refillable skincare plus maximizing it with autosave really will save you a lot of money. So that is bathroom swaps. Okay. Now, also when it comes to, I'll get to a little bit more later, but to cleaning the bathroom, we also have options like the Forever bottle, where you can just take a little bit of a concentrate, dilute it with water. It works great, full strength, and you're using a glass bottle, you're not using plastic, and that concentrate will last you forever. You know, think of like a concentrate like this going into a bottle like this, and it's just gonna last forever. And that's why they're called Forever bottles. But that's a really great way to save in the bathroom as well. Okay, now let's keep moving along. Speaking of the bathroom, I wanna know, is there a bathroom product that you've been wanting to replace with something more sustainable? Like, I know I'm like that, like I'll kind of have like a wish list in the back of my mind, and like as my budget or my time or my circumstances allow, then I'll be like, okay, that's next on my list that I'm gonna replace, that I'm gonna swap out. So I'd love to know, is there a bathroom product that you have next on your list to swap out for something more sustainable? Okay, so we've talked about the kitchen, we've talked about cleaning supplies, we've talked about the bathroom. Now let's talk about on the go, because summer, we are all on the go, we're out and about doing things, right, enjoying life. And so a couple little hacks for you when you're on the go. What about creating yourself some kind of grab and go eco kit? So this is what it could look like. This bag is awesome because it's really a nice size. And so in here I have, actually this one is such a great size. I can even fit a small silicone bag in here. So like, if you never know when you might need it, like, I don't know, I have young kids. Maybe my youngest, sometimes she still pees her pants when we're out and about. The most inconvenient time, I could put, you know, underwear in there. Or, you know, if you had food leftovers, whatever. Obviously, you would clean it in between those, right? But also I have in here like straws. I have some eco utensils. I have a napkin. I always have a travel EnviroCloth with me in my purse, in my car, always on the go. So you could have this grab and go eco kit and just have it in your car. You never know, like when you're out during summer, you don't want to have to be like, oh, well, we can't do that because I don't have, you know, something to wipe your feet off with afterwards or whatever. You can throw a dusty mitt in here. All kinds of things could go in here. The only limit is, you know, your imagination. So a grab and go eco kit, it's really handy to have. So what would you add to your summer mom bag to stay prepared? Like, those are some of the things I mentioned. What would you have on yours? I'd love to hear in the comments. All right, so that is a fun little hack, a grab and go eco bag. All right, so next I gotta talk about our reusable produce bags. So these produce bags, they're a quiet hero, and they replace hundreds of plastic baggies, and they have endless uses. And if you want to learn some of those endless uses, you got to ask for that tip sheet. We have a whole lot of them highlighted. I'm just going to mention a couple, but you definitely want to check out that tip sheet. Ask your consultant for that, and you'll see some really fun and great ideas that that I might not even mention here. But things like beach toys, you know, if you have sand in them, so it can shake out. Wet swimsuits. You could even use it for freezer storage, bulk snacks, Legos, all kinds of ways that you could use this. So one fun way you could use this is you could create, like we talked about this grab and go eco bag, you could create a grab and go pool bag. And so you could have things in here like goggles, little toys, you could throw a body cloth in there, you could have sunscreen in there, napkins, anything that's smaller that you want to use at the pool or have in your car if you're going to stop at the pool, or maybe, you know, you have like a spray ground or whatever that your kids like to stop at and you don't necessarily plan ahead, and you could just have this along with, you know, your beach towel in the car and ready to grab and go. So that's one fun way you could use these reusable produce bags, in addition to obviously for produce. Which, speaking of produce, we talked all about like not letting your food go to waste, and these are produce bags. That tip sheet also has some really amazing recipes for using up that summer produce. So that's another reason why you want to make sure you grab that. So which one of these non-food uses that I mentioned very briefly with the produce bags surprised you? Did any of them surprise you? Maybe you have your own idea. Put it in the comments. All right, now we also got to talk about summer stink, because it is the season, okay? And we were talking about cleaning supplies and the plastic that's involved with those. So we also got to talk about summer stink and some of the products that we have that are more concentrated or will last you longer, that can reduce your plastic, but also take care of some of those summer stink. So I gotta give a shout out to our sports sign. This stuff is amazing. It is one of our enzyme cleaners. You just spray it. You can spray it in shoes. I have one kid in particular. He's gone to nature camp like, twice. He's got another week of it coming up and a few weeks after this week. And when he comes home, his shoes are stinky. And so I can just spray them out with this, and the enzymes will attack all those odors, and he'll be good to go for the next day. Sports gear, I also have dancers in my household, and sometimes those dance clothes, especially the ones that are snug fitting, they start to get stinky. And so you can spray this on sports gear, hockey gear, all the gear, soccer gear, basketball. What about car seats? Sometimes car seats start to really stink, right? And you don't necessarily have time to pull those things apart and throw them in the wash. So in between, when you have time to do that, grab the sports sign. It's awesome for that. Another awesome option for summer stink is our odor eliminator. And this is, again, a concentrate. It makes so many bottles. I like to dilute it into like a spray bottle. You could also throw it in your laundry, like a capful in your laundry if you want to use it that way. But I just have it into a spray bottle to spray in places like trash cans. Like I said, I have a really stinky pet, and so this is being sprayed in his pet bed regularly. Bathrooms is a great option for that, which also is nice because if you got a small enough spray bottle, you could have it in your grab and go bag even, to spray if you're somewhere and it stinks, or if you're in a public bathroom, those always kind of smell funky. And so you could have this ready to go. And then of course, our Powerzyme, I gotta give another shout out to the Powerzyme, because those enzymes, again, are going to attack that deep odor in your laundry, and you're gonna just be amazed at how fresh your laundry smells. So check that out as another summer stink option. All right, what about having a body cloth with you when you are at the pool and you need to wipe down after the pool? Like, that's another really great option as well. So some really great summer stink hacks. There's tons more in our tip sheet, and so you definitely want to check those out, but that's just a few that I wanted to mention right here before we close out. And I would love to know, like, who in your house is the stinkiest during the summer? Is it kids? Is it pets? Is it, like, in our house, we have the wet pool towels. So actually, they don't stink because we use Norwex pool towels and I hang them up religiously. But if it weren't for me going behind the kids and hanging them up, the piles of wet pool towels could potentially be a source of stink. How about you guys? What is the stinkiest thing in your house during summer? Is it the kids' shoes from nature camp? Is it your stinky dog like me? What is it? I'd love to hear. All right, so let's just talk a little bit about how reducing plastic isn't just about what you stop using, it's also about how you replace it. And so one of the things that I love about Norwex is that they really back up what they say they believe in and what they support. And so Norwex has actually repurposed over 26 million bottles into microfiber cloths, or pads, things like that, cleaning tools. And we have things like our Forever bottles so that we don't have the plastic bottles when we can avoid it. When we do have plastic bottles, a lot of times you will see that they are sourced from ocean-bound plastic. So it's plastic that's basically been rescued from going out into the ocean and then been repurposed into something useful. And so that's just really great to see that mission carried out, more than just what you're swapping out. So I gotta know, what's one disposable product that you were shocked to learn isn't recyclable? Because some things aren't. And I will tell you, for me, it's probably pizza boxes. Like when I got a follow-up email from our recycle company that said, do not put pizza boxes in the recyclable container. I was like, what? It's made of cardboard, but there's a reason, I guess. But that is something that's not recyclable, is pizza boxes. So what's something that's disposable that you've been shocked to learn isn't recyclable? Put that in the comments. I'd love to hear. All right, let's see. Just gonna check my notes. I think that's about all I've got for you. I would love to know. Okay, we already asked about that. So, yep, that's about it. That's all I got. And I'm like I'm right on cue, right on the dot actually. I told you I wasn't gonna mess around. We were just gonna be like going right through it, one thing to the next. So you might have to go back and watch the replay. If you had a friend who wasn't on live that you noticed wasn't here, go ahead, make sure you share it with them, let them check it out too. Thanks so much for joining tonight. I hope you left with some ideas that are practical, that are doable, and that you feel empowered. And again, make sure you connect with the consultant who invited you here tonight and grab that tip sheet, because there's a lot of this info in there and even more that I think you will find extremely valuable and helpful on your journey to reduce plastic in your home this summer. All right, it was great connecting with you guys. Have a great evening and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.